Hey everybody, this is Brandon McGee in Texas, and you are joining today another video from the McGee Law Firm, Estate Planning and Elder Law. And I want to talk to you guys today about a document that's not real well known. A lot of my clients, when I mention it to them, they haven't heard of it. It's called Authority for Disposition of Last Remains and Burial and Funeral Instructions. And I first want to explain to you, I want to give you an example of why it's important. So a few years back, I had a client, husband and wife, who were senior citizens, and they both passed away in their 80s. The wife passed first, which doesn't normally happen, but it did in this case. And then the husband passed a couple years later. Well, they had 3 kids together. 2 of the kids lived here in Texas, in the DFW area, around mom and dad, and got along real well with everybody. They have another kid that we could maybe call the adult kid that, we could maybe call the problem child, right? Somebody that's in their 40s or 50s that lived out of state and just never really got along, had a hard time getting along with siblings and parents and so forth. So what happened was the problem child in the estate plan, in the trust, got a lesser percentage of the estate than her brother and sister. And that made her very upset. She didn't like that one bit. She didn't find out about that until her parents passed away. So what happened was this. Whenever it came time to bury the father, under Texas law, if you don't have a spouse because you're widowed, you're divorced, then all of your children need to sign off on your burial and funeral plans, okay? If somebody's going to be buried, if somebody is going to be cremated, that will have to be signed off on by all the next of kin, which in this case was the 3 children. Well, the dad was real clear to the whole family he wanted to be buried, but this one problem child decided to hijack the situation and say, nope, not going to agree to burying dad. We're going to cremate dad. And if you don't like that, and if you want me to agree with you, you're going to even out my distribution. You're going to give me a percentage that makes me equal with you guys, which was about 13.5% to be equal. And so they relented in desperation. They just said, okay, we'll give you more money. And that's what happened. And then they came to see me to tell me about it. And that's where I started using this document. In this document, appointment for agent for control of disposition of last remains, you name an order of preference, your family members or friends, whoever, that you want to be in charge of your last remains. So a lot of people will put their spouse first, obviously, if they have a spouse. Then they'll put whichever adult child they choose to handle that matter next, and then maybe a backup and even another backup. But what we don't want is having multiple people have to make that decision, so we can avoid these kind of problems. So I highly recommend the appointment for disposition of last remains. Also, we include burial and funeral instructions in there. This does not, what's the word I should use? This does not conflict with any prepaid burial or funeral that you may already have or prepaid cremation. It actually works in tandem with it. So if I have a client that says, I have XYZ funeral home, I already have a prepaid plan with them. We mention in the document there is a prepaid plan with XYZ funeral home. Or I want to be cremated and I want my ashes scattered in the Atlantic Ocean or the Caribbean or whatever you may want. So I highly recommend that all of you guys look into this document. It can just make your family's life easier after you pass. We have one person in charge of handling the last remains. We can cut out any arguments, and we have specific instructions on what you want done with your last remains. Okay. And just so you guys know, I want to encourage you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be doing updates regularly here in 2022 with new topics that are on the cutting edge of estate planning and elder law. So please like us, subscribe to our channel. I believe there's also a function on YouTube where you can receive notification when we post new videos. So thank you guys so much, and always please, if you're a Texas resident or you're calling on behalf of a Texas resident, always feel free to reach out to us and schedule a complimentary consultation. Thanks so much, guys.